Kind of want to look at the set
Domain
video.
expansion, Immaculate Crack Rock. Domain expansion, Homeless Fist. Hey, disciples. Seth here. Let me tell you about a game that's transfixed and
What is the
captivated
Jujutsu
me for the
Kaisen?
past many days. The Matchless Kungfu is an immersive sim that shows what life would be like if every man, woman, and child was trained in the martial arts. That is to say, life would not last very long. This game
Everybody
takes place
would
in
beat
the
each other up.
genre of wuxia. This is
Are they slapping each other's cocks?
life would not last very long. This game takes place
They're
in
just
the
smacking their balls. This is training you need to know. Of course because like in the end of the day, like wouldn't this be the weak spot for men? So you gotta enhance you gotta sterilize yourself. You gotta smack your balls and crush them so you feel no pain anymore.
genre of wuxia.
I like that there's just a bunch of men in the background looking at this. Like, yeah, keep doing this.
This is Chinese sword fantasy fiction, but a little more grounded than some I've covered in the
Kiara,
past.
good,
The game
good.
works like this. You play a world simulation where
Oh,
everyone
God.
has their own desires and
I think I've seen
motivations,
this game.
which you expand by putting down plots of land. These are pre-made areas containing a challenge. If you finish an objective, you
East
can
and
place
West
more
has that in
land, and
common.
you keep
Ooh,
going
that-
until,
they do?
inevitably, a Shaolin master breaks your
My
spine.
balls
You're not
fell
expected
off.
to win from the
Imagine that if you wake up and your balls are just on your floor. Wouldn't that be terrifying if that could be a thing? Jesus Christ, I'd freak the fuck out.
first or second try. The actions you took in a past life will influence the next through karma, and you're not expected to understand any of it.
You just gotta
That's
have a
why
crazy
I don't
ex,
have to
and maybe
explain
that will
you
happen
why
to you.
I began my journey drop kicking roosters and fighting with
What
a
a
family
great
dog.
gameplay.
Nor do I have to
Wow.
explain to you this incredibly elaborate system of rock paper scissors that is combat, because the tutorial went over my head, but I've retained the knowledge non-verbally. And finally, despite being at the time of this review a complete demigod with perfectly harmonized meridians, I can confidently tell you I have no idea what's going on. For being the
What
product
is this
of
game
RNG,
about?
My first Chinaman turned out looking okay.
My
very
first
quest was to
Chinaman?
beat the shit out of wine-stealing monkeys, only to find out animals can be tamed. Abilities vary
Ooh,
between
it's like
animals, but for the
Palworld.
monkey, this was begging. The monkey can beg for money, which infuriates the local beggar, as I'm taking away from his local business. In this game, beggar is a profession, and just like doctors operate
Imagine
clinics,
losing your
beggars
begging
operate
job to a
churches.
monkey.
I was driven away and had to beg
Good
downhill
morning, Drix.
instead.
How you
Then
doing,
I
buddy?
got a quest to deal with some
Hi,
bandits. No
Drix.
problem, I thought, until I saw they were two women who could kill just by breathing on me. Luckily, my
Ooh.
objective wasn't to defeat them, just burn down their camp. This was very easy because they took several naps while I was doing so, only stopping when I burnt down their mattress. So they left and started harassing the locals. As it turns out, one of the bandits had the charitable perk.
It's like
which
they
meant
said
that she would
Twitter on
rob
the
local
village.
store, beat up the owner, and donate all her savings directly to my monkey. I made a lot of money from the bandit monkey pipeline, and I found the constant brawls to be very entertaining.
what?
Until it wasn't.
That can
the store owner
happen?
was dead on the floor. I realized I had to do something, or I was going to lose a lot more NPCs. I lured the two bandits into a non-lethal sparring competition, broke their strength, quickly rested, and jumped them again before they could recover. This bumped up my reputation, and I was offered a selection of different schools of martial arts. Naturally, I chose
Amazing.
to join the drunken set.
Drunk
Not
set.
only did I get a bunch of skills that are simple enough that even I can reliably
He's
combo,
turning into
I also got
drunken
informed
brawler.
that I had a secret admirer. Who, may I ask? Well, the person telling me. And just like that, I had a significant other. She was
Oh, that is so good. Well, there you go. The secret is out.
sleeps on the floor. Sorry, honey. The bed is reserved for me and the monkey. As we lay together and pick lice out of each other's hair, our bond strengthens.
You lost
Following
to a
cultivation
monkey.
Tropes, you can attend auctions to bid on rare and expensive items. Every time someone makes a bid for an item or increases their bid, the other guests become more jealous. If you let this play out in the background in its entirety, everyone who went to the auction is now seething with hatred and will try to kill every
I've
other
never seen that. Have they even had a normal conversation yet? Because all they do is like fucking fly around and slap each other with their like feet. All they do is fight. They don't talk.
attendee.
This
In
is
game, You
normal?
don't get stronger from fighting.
Dude.
You get stronger by connecting shapes.
I
in
don't
the
wanna
right
have a
order
family
to
dinner in this
activate
game.
inner Kung Fu. In my case, however, I got alcohol immunity. I didn't
Nice.
understand the value of this until I sat down for a drink and saw a small option to make a toast. I could forcibly drink someone under the table, and when they're passed out, I could kidnap their body and rob them blind. Which is exactly what I did for the next hour, until everyone was running around in sub-zero temperatures in boxer shorts. Putting down enough normal plots lets you place special plots, such as towns. Soon as I entered, two men started bickering because one had slept with the other's wife. I intervened against infidelity, but a little too strongly, because he was now dead. I sat down at the bar to continue my drunken robbery when the same woman who committed adultery tried to seduce me. Honoring my beloved, I rejected her advances. So she threatened to kill me if I said no. And she did, because she's got 12k vigor. So I reloaded and tried to beg for forgiveness. Instead, she let me off lightly by breaking my legs. The irony.
Oh my god. What the fuck is this game? What is going on?
Of the situation is that she owned the town clinic and would help treat my crippling disability the next day. I lived a good life. I trained hard. And despite that, I am surrounded by sociopaths that could kill me on a whim. I hate this place. I'm gonna go parkour across.
Wait, that is business. Wait, she broke his leg, but she's like the only clinic in town, so he had to pay her after she broke his leg to fix it. Oh, goddamn.
Going far
what
north in the map is
ruthless
how you get
businesswoman.
captured and imprisoned. This is not a bad thing. This is how you unlock your second and third character slots. As said before, you're not meant to win on the first try. Or rather, you're not the main character. The protagonist of this story is your ancestors. Quick briefing on power levels. Everything is about vigor, which is how much punishment you can take. No matter how good you are at finessing the combat and exploiting meridians, your starting character's vigor will cap off at around 2k. So for reference, at your absolute peak, you are half as strong as a giant toad. How do we remedy this? Genetics. Much like a trailer park is much more of a gene pond than a gene pool, your choice of partner has consequences on your child's pedigree. You need to choose the right China man or China woman to chintegrate into your lineage. If you're the offspring of a sect leader, you're born with 2k extra vigor. That's nice, but we need to go even harder. There are many myths, many legends. In high school, we used to nipple cripple each other. If you're not familiar, that's where you
they're
grab
fighting
both
all the
nipples
time
and twist painfully, usually in the changing room when they're most vulnerable, until one of our friends told us that's how a kid got nipple cancer, because he got nipple crippled too often and it became a tumor. We knew
the
story
nipple
was
twister,
bullshit, but we were scared, and we never did it again. Similarly, I heard tales of people hitting 30k vigor, and I think I know how. Some call it intuition. I call it reading a guide on Steam. Karma are objectives you complete during life that allow you to take different blessings in the next. Our objective, pristine birthright, requires the following: 30 lovers, 30 grudges, or 1,000,000 gold. Gold is out of question, so I went with 30 grudges instead. For reference, the worst thing you can do to someone is destroying their kung fu. Understandably, beating someone so hard they forget how to move creates a lot of animosity. At first,
that makes sense.
Non-lethal and just battled people, stole their kung fu, and locked them in a cage. This got problematic very quickly. I would imprison someone's mother, so their daughter would show up and start breaking the cage from outside, trying to rescue them. So I had to knock her out, put her in another cage, only to see the mother try to break out from inside to rescue her daughter. Everyone started bonding over their shared predicament.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Tried to make a prison break. Eventually, it was too much, so I had to start taking heads. All I wanted was 30 enemies, but it seems now I'm going to need 30 body bags. This was a problem because I couldn't keep track of the people I killed and their relations to one another. I accidentally killed off someone's parent, only to find out their daughter had 12k vigor and was chasing me across the land. I died several times and had to reload. The only way I was going to survive was by friendship, and paying the master of my sect 1,000 gold to beat the shit out of her. As I took her head, I realized, why do I even need this karma quest when I have a small army that can finish the entire game? There are no words to describe the experience of combat when your fights are stacked 20 against 1, except incredibly fair. I thought I was invincible, but I flew too close to the sun. You see, slowly, over time, my army kept taking internal injuries, but their AI wouldn't let them go to a clinic for treatment, and I didn't pay attention. Suddenly, some of them died, which caused their friends to blame me for their death, which forced me to fight them. But then...
Oh my god. I feel like whenever it comes to Chinese RPGs, you can never expect what will happen. The most unexpectable can always be happening. What? Imagine that. Imagine you don't feed, like, imagine in Baldur's Gate, one of your companions dies and then suddenly everybody there blames you and start killing you and leaves your party. Like, what?
They died, and my other companions attacked me. My failure cascade was out of control, and I died at the hands of my own men. I thought
Wow.
I was girl boss of
He
this
lost to a
empire,
cock.
but in truth, I was nothing but the boss baby. I looked back on the footage to
It is
figure
what
out
it
exactly
is.
where it all went wrong, and surprisingly, it wasn't inflicted injuries. No, what happened was I ate shit to see what happens, and I saw the animation, and I thought it was really funny. However, my dysentery gave me a stack of poison gas, which spreads from close contact.
So he's a shit eater, huh? I guess he's playing WoW.
My army was exclusively
Genshin.
in close contact, so the cause of death, of everyone, and myself included, was my own excrement. But it turned out I made enough enemies in this life that I finished my karma quest. Pristine Birthright gives you the single biggest power spike in the game, if you can actually use it. If I could figure it out, I'm sure you can too. In case you do this yourself, I found out I didn't actually need grudges, and I could have just marked 30 people as enemies. Turns out, feeding people shit, gouging out their eyes, and repeatedly breaking their legs was completely unnecessary, and says a lot more about myself. My unscrupulous actions would come to haunt me for my third character, as I start with ill fate, which means I'm more likely to be struck by lightning. I try to cheese the system by praying for rain and speedrunning life. Unfortunately, lightning only cooks you, so I tried dying to bandits. They refused to kill me as well. Instead, they put me in a cage and went to sleep. Occasionally, they would wake up and poison me before going back to sleep. This also failed to kill me. Frustrated, I ran to the Forbidden Palace, which is this game's version of a government. This is staffed by people who are referred to
Why do you need
as
that?
an incomplete person, who are missing their precious treasure. This is a very Chinese way of saying they lost their penis. I could go on to
It's a
explain how
shame.
dynasties thought this would prevent
I mean, what do you
nobles and public
expect when he
officials
keeps
from
on
seizing
knocking
power
it off
because
all
they
the
couldn't
time?
produce children. But I digress. Anyway, I set fire to the
Oh,
palace,
7.
and I was promptly executed, and it was all for nothing because my negative karma was still there. Also, I found out groin kick has a chance to permanently crush your balls. Deal
Wow.
with this information as you will.
That's
So,
what I'm saying. They keep kicking each other in the nuts. No wonder you're
I
sterilized.
made my fourth and final character, Supreme Genetics. Excellent karma. And you know what he does with it? Nothing, because I unlocked Beast Tongue and can now tame infinite monkeys. Now I have complete monopoly on
Monkey
the entire
army.
begging sector. This game is undeniably
What is that thing
early
doing? Is it
access.
trying to fuck
the
him?
translations can range from English to absolutely esoteric, but the gameplay is so intuitive that I never felt like I was missing out. There is one exception to this. It's called verbal duels, and they're completely insane. This is the equivalent of an online debate, where the objective is to mentally break your opponent. Instead of vigor, you use spirit, and depleting someone's spirit will put them in hysteria, and hysteria can lead to death.
This is the game you should add. If Twitter ever add minigame, this is the game they should add.
So you troll someone to death. It's really hard to say which
The
single
Monkey
event
King.
in this sandbox broke me. Was it
You
the
can
time
just
I
ride
went
a
to the
cock
clinic
like
for a
that.
broken
Wow.
leg, only for the doctor
Impressive.
to forcibly throw me outside because it was 1 minute past his bedtime? Or was it my wife screaming at me for having an affair, as I have no option to explain to her that I have no relation to this giant black serpent, and it only holds feelings of intimacy for me because I implanted it with a love parasite. Since writing these lines, my
Wow.
world got flooded. I tried to swim north and got eaten by a great white shark. This came out of nowhere, so it scared the shit out of me. This was the worst jump scare I've ever had. I got crinkles in my diaper and was very afraid.
Oh,
so I'm
poor
giving this
little
game
boy.
a 0 out of 10. In all seriousness, if you're willing to put up with a lot of bad translation and want a sandbox where you can live out your power fantasy of killing everyone with your bare hands, then I thoroughly recommend it. For the price they're asking, I definitely got my money's worth. It's pleasant, it's charming, and there's a lot to explore that I haven't had the time to cover. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. This video didn't take that long. Many of my videos take very long, and even longer as time went by. Decision paralysis corrodes every content creator. However, my autism has been cured. Thank you, Lexapro, and most of all, thank you, Allah, for your glorious
Thank you,
blessings
Allah.
each day. I have a couple ads this year. I got bills to pay, but I hope to make up for it with a garbage quality you know and expect. A warm thanks to
Perfect.
the many
That's what
members
all
of
I
the
want.
Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful.
Dude,
Have a
this
good
game
one.
feels like it could never end. I feel like this game could
Domains.
never end. This is insane. Oh my god, I love these Chinese RPGs. I've never played one, but fuck me, do I love whenever you give someone like Seth the ability to play it and they record and tell you about their stories. That's like the most fun shit ever. I absolutely love it. Oh, so the infinite endgame? That's amazing. Oh my god. Imagine if they could have a role-playing server on this. Like, imagine if these were like 3D models you had like in like GTA, and you had a role-play experience in this, and you had like 50 other people or 100 other people in it. That would be insane with how the villagers and the situation going on. That would be funny. I wish that was a thing. That would be really funny. I think this game seems like a gem, and I hope it makes a sequel. I should try it out one day. Holy. Hi, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe. I'll post videos nearly every day, so if you want to watch any more reactions, feel free to subscribe and I'll see you there.